Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and welcome to another weekend. Happy Saturday. We are going to be going over our second Jinzo deck this week, and we are going to be using the second skill as promised. Now, if I'm going to be 100% with you guys, I don't enjoy this skill as much. In fact, I think even whatever it's Jinzo, I think is maybe even a better skill than this one. But let's go over it anyway, and let's try to use it, right? So when you flip this over, flip this over when you activate the skill. Once per duel, if your opponent controls a face-up trap card, tribute a machine or a psychic you control to special summon a Jinzo from the hand or the graveyard. Okay, I don't mind the graveyard part. I really thought it should be like maybe from the deck since this is a once per duel type thing. But it is what it is, right? Like, I get it. We can have cool things for like Obelisk and Raw, but not Jinzo, right? Either way, this deck is going to be pretty reminiscent of the last build because a lot of the core cards remain the same and for the same reasons. Like, we played 3 Cyber Dragons, and we played 3 Cyber Dragons, of course. This way we have a good, like an offensive go. We want to go second. We want to go ahead. We want to special summon and get into our tribute. We want to get into Jinzo just as fast as possible. It raises the power ceiling of our deck. It does a lot of things. But what if you go first? Well, if you go first and you want to use 3 copies of Gilasaurus, okay, this card hasn't been talked about much at all, but this was like a structure deck card for Rex Raptor. And what happens is you can special summon this from your hand. Now, if you choose to do this, you activate the following effect, and your opponent gets to decide if they'd like to special summon 1 card from their graveyard. Now, the only hand traps we have is, like, I think Sphere Krebo. There might be another one. I think DD Crow's in the game. Maybe not. Point is, chances are they're not actually playing those in enough numbers to matter. So if you do go first, your opponent's graveyard, while they have the ability to summon from it, is empty. So they really don't. But this will allow us to just go ahead and, again, like, special summon. And again, if we go second before we start clubbing their monsters, how about you go Cyber Dragon, Gilasaurus, Tribute Gilasaurus to Jinzo? Again, this is where this raises up your power ceiling. This allows you to play bigger moves. And of course, speaking of the guy, here he is himself. We've definitely got our Hannibal Lecter-esque monster card. And as per the usual, he negates all traps and their effects while they are on the field. So very cool. And we still round this out with the Reflect Bounders because, number 1, Reflect Bounder is a cool card. 2, it was definitely like an Esperoba favorite. 3, it's one of my favorites. And until the power creep of the ban list updates and gets rid of my boy, I'm going to be playing him anytime I'm playing machines. Again, it just helps to throw down extra like control and pressure on the opponents. And maybe sometimes Jinzo is not always the biggest threat, so they'll look elsewhere. Going into the spells, we're still running 2 copies of the Cyber Shock. Again, allows us to destroy cards and or extra effects if the card we destroyed happened to be a trap. With the 800 power bonus for Jinzo being permanent. Still running the Cross Out. Again, you guys play test it between this and the Shield Crush because they're both great. Still running Double Night Beam. Still running Double Shrink. Obvious reasons. This actually pulls more weight because of the Gilasauruses now. So again, just kind of enjoy it. You can get your opponent to make some ridiculous plays. And then 2 copies of Psychic Shockwave still. This is going to be our only trap this time. Again, one of the big benefits of the Mind Crush is when we know what's in the opponent's hand. And again, we kind of switched gears. That's why this deck is very similar. But it's not 100% the same. So just real quick, guys, take the snapshot and or pause plus notes, and we'll be back with the rest in just a moment. All right, guys, same extra deck as it always is. It is just the extra deck I use, unless I play a deck that specifically requires use of its own extra deck, i.e. Elemental Heroes. Just be prepared to see this, just every time. And it also means I'm generally playing Waking the Dragon, which is fine. We stepped up in our side deck to 2 copies of Dahlgren this time. And again, since we still have the Cyber Energy Shocks, we still have the Shrinks. Um, I'm not upset about putting this over there just to smack it around a little bit. Plus, like if the only monster I have is a Reflect Bounder, does my opponent want to attack and take 3,000 damage before I take anything? That's on them. We'll figure that out when we get to that bridge, right? So again, two copies of this. Switched Zoma out for the offerings to the doomed in the side. Again, generally speaking, I do want to draw as many turns as I can just to get to the Jinzo. Again, the skill and the trap card making it just a pinch easier. Offerings to Doomed would slow me down just a hair. That's why it's in the side. Next up, the single copy Lost Wind. Again, we can get 2 uses out of it. Jinzo's never a guarantee. The rest of the deck can still play tech without him. And then last but not least, 2 copies Waking the Dragon. Because again, resolution, even with Jinzo on the field, will happen because this card resolves either in the banish pile or the graveyard. So its activation and resolution are not touchable by Jinzo. So this means we can either play it while our opponent has a Jinzo, we can play it while we have a Jinzo, and we can play any one of these cards we've selected for our extra deck. So that is this week's Jinzo deck lists. Hopefully you guys enjoy them, and if you do, consider supporting the channel. It's as easy as a like, comment, and subscription. If you haven't, maybe turn on the notification bell. I guess I gotta ask about that every now and again. There's a lot of people who they catch my videos like 3 days late, 5 days late, and they're like, I thought this was just uploaded. No, unfortunately, there's either something wrong with YouTube and its update system, or you simply haven't hit the notification bell to get the up-to-dates. Generally, these go up 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, whenever they're scheduled. And if you're not getting them at that time, that's probably the reason. But for now, my friends, it is Saturday, so definitely go out, enjoy, do some stuff. Still Spooktober, maybe go get like a nice cup of, and this is going to be super controversial, and I'm willing to die on this hill, okay? But go get yourself some hot apple cider. I know everybody wants the pumpkin spice, but trust me, the hot apple cider on the chilly nights, it's hitting good. But for now, my friends, I'll see you guys later.